Welcome to Bitches in Season, a podcast for everyone who loves dogs,
all things agility, and some spicy tea. I'm Lizzie.
I'm Rachel.
And I'm Lindsay.
Bitches in Season.
How we are so fake. Like, we're like, fucking want to die. And then we're like, hey.
Hi. I hate my life. I want to go to bed. I want to die.
My stomach cannot stop rumbling. I'm so fucking hungry. I did not eat barely anything.
This is our intro, by
I
the
didn't
way.
eat anything today because we have no fucking food and our sink is clogged and our kitchen's ripped up and our basement's ripped up. And Josh
Do you know today was the earliest sunset today?
Oh, fuck that.
I know.
The worst
I
fucking
wanted
day.
to die.
Anyway, okay, here we are.
Here we are.
Hi, welcome to Bitches in Season. Listen, guys, sometimes the bitches be bitchin' because I think this is an interesting part of doing a podcast is like, we've committed to this. We said we were going to do it every other week. And sometimes you just maybe don't feel like it or like life is in the way.
You have like a mental breakdown, crying,
some crying,
a lot of crying.
You just like
your best friend goes away for 45 days. You don't see her.
It's true. I've been gone a lot. I wasn't home, and the seasons had the audacity to change and bring about seasonal depression. And it's dark at fucking 4 p.m. and we're not our absolute best.
No, but it's also the holiday season, which I have family coming in, things are getting busy.
I have a trash family. Not really. Sorry, not trash. My mom doesn't listen. So I guess I can say that. But families just suck.
Yeah.
We're spending the holidays together
because fuck family.
Because what is so the saying is like blood is thicker than water, but that's not true. Like the rest of the saying is that actually the people you choose can be strong.
Last year we all spent Thanksgiving together.
So we're spending Christmas together this year.
Families are so great. This is such a great time of year. But we're not going to chat a lot today because we have a really amazing guest.
We do.
And we're also a little grumpy. So we're just going to get right to it with our guest today. What do you guys say?
Yeah, let's do it.
So guest today is someone who we're super, super excited about. She started as a junior handler in agility, which is an amazing way to kind of grow up in the sport, but she's stayed in it in a number of ways. And today we want to talk about the challenges, the triumphs, the good, the bad, the ugly, and honestly, the future of the sport, especially for young people. So we have the perfect person to guide us through this topic. Welcome to Bitches in Season, McKenzie Minto.
Hello. Thanks for having me. So great to be here.
So excited to have you. So McKenzie, if you don't know her, you should know her. She's a highly accomplished handler who's competed for Team USA as a junior at the Junior World Championships in the European Open and the World Agility Open, WAO. And she actually is also a UKI Agility Judge and, drumroll, one of next year's judges at the US Open.
So exciting.
See you there. I'm very excited.
Yes, you will see me there for the first time ever.
Not enough. She's also the co-director of the nonprofit Boundless Junior Agility Company, aka BJAC. So welcome again. We're so excited to have you. What a resume.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here. I was just telling you off camera that my favorite thing to do is yap about agility. So I will take any opportunity I can.
Honestly, same. That's why the podcast exists. We just are three bitches who sit on our couch and chit chat. And I think one of the other cool things about you is that not only do you do all those amazing things that I say, but you're just like a full-time regular bitch who has a job. Like this isn't your whole life. And that's what we are too. Like we have 9 to 5s that have nothing to do with dogs. And it's going to be fun to connect with you about that.
Yeah, we're living that Hannah Montana double life.
We are.
We get the best of both worlds.
Yes.
Where's my wig? I should wear a wig. The pink pants that I wear, those are the wig.
Yes.
Your pink shorts.
Yeah. So let's just rewind and tell us your life story. We want all the lore. You've packed all this stuff into your agility career and you started at 8 years old. Please tell us everything.
Yeah. So I started agility when I was 8, as you just mentioned, and I actually started the pipeline of horse girl to dog girl is very common. So I started off riding horses, and total act of coincidence is that this is a long story that I'm making short, but my mom broke both of her heels at the horse stable that I was training at. And then she had just signed up for herself to take agility classes, but she couldn't because she broke her heels. So then I was her 8-year-old daughter who replaced her in those classes, and the rest is history.
Like, instead of an adult, I now have to teach a tiny child.
Yes, yeah. She'd already put down the money, and the instructor was like, okay, I guess. And to this day, my mom has always been my number one supporter. So I became super passionate about the sport, and she became my chaperone, basically.
Oh,
did you stay involved with horses at all, or you made a hard transition?
I kind of naturally phased it out. I think as my passion for agility grew, also, I physically grew, and I was riding a 12-hand tall pony at the time, and I grew out of riding him. So then I just transitioned to the dog thing instead.
Yeah, you're tall.
I am.
You are tall.
Indeed.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I guess back to my life story. I trained a bunch. I fell in love with it. I had a cute little like border collie mix at the time named Sasha. And that around the time that I got my second dog was when I learned about the Junior Open Agility World Championship. So I made that team when I was 16, and then I fell in love with international competing. And eventually along that timeline, I got Safari, with whom I made the EO and the WAYO team with. And then I had her in college with me, and I just love this sport so much. So I love to find different ways to like contribute to it, which I guess is why I have this big resume that you speak about. So, that's it, I guess.
So just by chance of your mom breaking her heel. See, Lizzie, something good can happen from a debilitating injury.
Yeah, don't I know?
That's amazing. And I love to hear about just how it spiraled wildly out of control from like, I take a class like everyone else. Like, I walk in my first class to like, now it's such a huge part of your life, and you're pretty iconic. You travel around, you do the judging thing, you do the BJAC thing. So that's really cool. It must be so inspiring to the young people that are around you too.
Yeah, and I put a lot of weight on the fact that agility really does become an identity. And so I think growing up for me, it gave me such a sense of identity and a sense of belonging that it was like, even when I guess we can talk about this more in like the junior part of this conversation, but when I was in middle school and I was feeling like bullied or like I didn't have friends, like the agility community was that for me. So that's why I fell so deeply in love with it.
Yeah. And it's like, it's hard because at the average school, there's not many other dog freak girls. Like, I remember in 5th grade, I didn't do agility as a kid, but I did confirmation, and we had like a show and tell or like a teach the class, like a skill. And I literally brought a stuffed animal Rottweiler and like put it on the table and showed how you would like show it and like examine it. And like, that was my like show and tell. And like the rest of the class was just like, huh? Like, what? But if you meet those other people who are also like freaks like you're like, okay, these are my people.
We get it. Yeah.
It's an if you know, you know type of situation.
Yeah, totally is. For sure.
I think there's also that element of like people who think that they have a stronger connection with animals sometimes than people, which I definitely felt in my childhood and probably sometimes now. So Oh, that's so cool. I love hearing that. So let's get into being a junior. I'm so fascinated. Honestly, this is like funny to say, but one of our best friends in our area is a junior.
Yes.
She's just like so easy to relate to and so fun to talk to.
Is she still technically a junior?
Well, I'm sorry. She's 20 now. She just turned 20. But like I don't know. She was in my class with Vision, and like then you guys were in classes.
Yeah,
and she's like,
I was in class with her for a while with OB, and
she's one of the main people I like talk to at a trial and stuff. Now she's in college, but
they can be like the coolest demographic of people. And I think that's another great thing about agility is that it very much transcends like the age gaps that tend to exist in the world.
Yes.
And I grew up having so many adult friends, and it just like that's how it goes. And there's no barrier between young people and old people in this sport.
It's so true. Some of my other best friends are like 60-year-olds.
Exactly. I go out to like the brewery with one of my Pembroke people that I met through agility, and she's like 60-something years old, and we just grab a drink at the brewery.
We love it.
Yeah. So.
But what's it like from your lens of growing up in this adult-dominated sport?
Yeah, I mean, it has its pros and cons. Enough pros that I stuck with it, but also enough cons that I'm really involved in the Boundless Junior Agility Company. And it's very isolating, right? So you know that there's so few juniors, and because of that, it's not often that you see a lot of other young people on a weekend basis to interact with. So in that sense, it's, it can be very demotivating. And so I think the reason that I'm very passionate about bringing more juniors into this sport is because you have to like push through the discomfort of being so isolated in order to get to like how freaking amazing this sport is.
Yeah, it's so true. It can be so awkward. And I feel like I am also extremely passionate about juniors. I have a junior in my class right now. I had a junior in the very first class I ever taught. And one thing I'm super proud of is that our club offers a junior handler scholarship for classes.
Awesome.
And this year we had 9 applicants. Last year we had 3. So it's like the program, it fluctuates, and there's like a pipeline from a local 4-H club and all that stuff I'm just super, super proud of. But I was a high school teacher, so I know how kids operate when it comes to like, drawing into themselves or like the encouragement that they need. So I just go like so far out of my way to be like super kind to every junior and like really encouraging and just like hype them up all the time. And I feel like I'm not going to say a lot, some adults in agility just expect young people to be like slightly shorter adults and like hold them to these like stupidly
really high
expectations. And I have to be like, they are teenagers. Their brains are developing. Like
they are children.
Yes,
right,
they're children. And also they have every right to be here just as much as you do, like despite the fact that they're kids. I think something we see a lot, this is like input that I get from the juniors that I work with through BJAC, but they often get that people at a trial like don't think that they have a parent, so then they get lectured all the time and they're like put under this microscope of like, this is how you should do this, because a lot of adults are trying to teach the kid how to behave. And it's like, you don't need that. Just welcome them there and accept that they are younger and they have a different like set of personality than you might.
Oh, it's so true. I feel like agility people, some of them, love to just tell other people about themselves, period. And then when it comes to a child, they're like, kids these days, like nobody's like keeping them in line. Like, please take a seat.
Let
like,
them grow up. Like,
And like let people make mistakes. Like sometimes the best way to learn is to fail.
It is.
And like fall on your face a little bit. And that's a good part of life too. So
Literally. Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about like competing on the world stage. You mentioned like agility becoming an identity, which is a positive thing in the community, but then that also can be really challenging with the pressure you put on yourself. And like, I don't know if I'd be able to handle that pressure as a kid because I struggled hard with it as an adult.
I still struggle with pressure that I put on myself as an adult. So
literally.
Geez.
Yeah, I guess I don't put a ton of pressure on myself in terms of delivering over there, because purely I fell in love with just the feeling of competing internationally. I'm sure you guys are familiar that there's some very different like subsets or genres of agility, and my favorite is the international type. So I was very internally impelled to make those teams, but I never really felt the pressure of like, oh, I have to go over there and like represent the young people of this sport and bring back a medal.
It's like being there is the honor.
It really is. And also, I have a tendency to gush about my dog because she's fantastic. But a lot of this was purely that, like, I love my Border Collie Safari so much. And it's just, like, so fun to have adventures with her. That was a lot of it.
Yeah,
truly.
angel goggles.
Yeah.
Well, she might actually be truly
an actual
amazing.
angel.
Yeah,
Just like
natural
Chessie.
angels.
Chessie's a special angel. So yeah.
She's an angel.
But no, that's so true. Like I also looked at it as like having an amazing vacation with my dog. Like I walked around Amsterdam for a whole day by myself before WAO, or like every night I just like walked around that pretty hotel grounds and just like had a great time with him and played with him and smiled at him and just lived it up there. So yeah, just being there was a joy, and like doing whatever happened in the competition was just cherry on top. So yeah, I don't know. Tell us about like what year were you abroad as a junior?
So it would have been 2015, and then every year consecutively until 2022, except for the COVID year.
Oh my
gosh.
I did not realize that. That's amazing.
Thank you.
That is truly amazing.
That's an awesome level of consistency too to maintain, and it sounds like through college potentially.
Yeah, through college, and it happened very naturally that it was like in the exact progression of, I guess, like the prestige of the event. So like when I was a kid, I was in the junior team, and then the year that I aged out was the year that I made EO and WAYO. So then I just like kind of transitioned into the adult
Leveled up.
stuff.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so
Wow.
awesome.
All with Safari?
No, my first year on the junior team was with Breeze, her half sister.
Oh my
Wow.
gosh. So training multiple dogs to compete at that level while you were a kid is pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Did you have any like, I don't know, mentors or peers that were really like role models or guides to you along the way? And like, how did that shape your journey?
Yeah, so I'm about to give a really deep cut right now. The OG agility community will know of Tori Self. Are you guys familiar?
I
No.
know.
Okay.
I'm like not a
Okay,
Yeah.
so Tori Self was like single-handedly the reason why I set the goals that I did. So she was at the time, I believe, the youngest person to make world team. She was 19 years old, running with her little border collie named Revolution. And the reason why it's a deep cut is because she's since like moved to England and doesn't do agility anymore. But she had like a super active blog and a YouTube channel and was just like, she won Cynosport, she won NAC, I think twice in a row, made the world team a bunch of times. So like she was super accomplished, and she was also just like a really cool person, and she knows that I'm like her biggest fangirl. So I mention her because I met her when I was 11, and that just like set it off. I was immediately like, oh my God, Mom, I want to get a border collie.
Yeah.
I want to do the thing. I want to make world team. Like that's the goal.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Oh, that's
she
so cool.
was definitely a big influence of mine growing up.
Wow.
That's amazing. I need to look her up.
Please do go watch her old YouTube channel.
I'm going
I love her old
to.
videos.
I'm going
And like,
to.
yeah, like early days before like maybe so much social media and stuff. Like she was on
Yeah.
YouTube and blogging. Like that's really like
That's
That's,
dedication.
yeah, that's like the OG, like, social media. So,
Yeah.
wow.
What are the ways in which she like supported you, and did you live near each other, or how did you stay connected? And yeah, just kind of what was her influence on you?
So she lived in Florida, so we were an entire country away from each other.
Wow.
But she
Oh, wow,
just
yeah.
generally was like I like stalked her. So I guess it's maybe wrong to say that she was a mentor to me because we didn't interact all that much. But like
She's like an infant.
the impact that she had on me. Her
Wow.
blog really, I don't even know if her blog posts are like still available to read, but she's a very like mature, insightful person. So I always read a lot into the way that she saw agility and the way that she like navigated the world, and her love for her dog like definitely rubbed off on me. So all of that.
So did you stay in classes, or did you would you say that like somebody taught you, or would you say that you were more like self-taught?
Okay, so are you asking
part of-
for like training mentor? Yeah.
Training. Yeah.
So
yeah.
I grew up training with Sandy Scott and Mia Grant down in Southern California, and they
Yeah.
definitely were
Yeah.
super influential to me. I still, to this day, I handle very similarly to the way that they do. So I trained with them through my childhood until I moved away for college, and then that's when I sort of felt like ready to be my own instructor.
What was it like preparing for international competitions in a pre-ISC world? Like, it seems like there was a disconnect at some point between what was going on in America and the challenges that were being put up in Europe. What was that like?
Yeah, it's funny you say that because still in California we have so few ISC events, so that's kind of still the case here.
That's true.
So
true.
really you just have to like make a concerted effort to seek out that type of course. Like I think UKI is a good example of that, so I do a lot of UKI, and then we have, I'll make a training group of local friends who are going to set up some ISC course of some sort. So you just have to seek it out, really.
Yeah. I'm always so impressed by people who are more homeschooled in ISC, because I'm so spoiled by where we live in terms of like workshops and actual ISC trials all the time. Like when I got Vision, it was just available to me without a lot of effort, which is, it sounds so bratty to say, but we're so lucky.
It is. It's literally, we could go 20 minutes in every which direction, and we have UKI, ISC, AKC, USDAA.
And some of the best handlers in the country.
Yeah, literally. And within 20, 25 minutes of where we live.
I feel like you had to grind it out a lot more.
I did. I think all of us over on the West Coast are still kind of roughing it, but we're catching up. And I agree that I'm glad you guys recognize like what privilege you have living in just that like Northeast region, because I've judged out there, and it's like such a cool community of multiple agility clubs and businesses that all like you're all so collaborative and you just lift each other up, and that's just so lovely.
Yeah, I do really feel that way. Like there's a couple clubs that are like 10, 15, 20 minutes apart, and I'm always like, guys, it's not the Bloods and the Crips. Like it's really just like we are lucky to have so many great indoor heated facilities with bathrooms. Like we
with
should
air
just
conditioning,
count our blessings. There's no rivalry, and honestly, there's enough business to go around, luckily, for everyone. So
yeah, and I can say as a judge, I've traveled around quite a bit, and that's not a given for every region. So it's super apparent. The Northeast is one. I like to think the Bay Area is one that's like super, positive and uplifting to one another. But I won't name any other regions, but like I can tell when they are like cutthroat against each other.
Oh, yeah. When there's beef, I hate that.
Yeah.
So speaking of beef, tell us about like when you were a kid, was there drama? Was there like problems with competitors, especially adults? Like, I don't know. What was that like? How did you handle it?
I mean, I remember that there were a few times that I was just like still learning how to compete independently, and I was like late to a couple of runs at a regional, and I remember like this was one of the more traumatic weekends of my life because some adult like came up and not only screamed at me but like tried to take my score away for running out of order because I was late to the run. And actually, like, in all fairness, that is protocol. Like, I think something about being a junior is that sometimes you get special treatment, but sometimes you really have to like deal with the consequences of your own actions. And so I can't think of any times other than that where it was like drama and
Well, you said you're not a controversial person, which I appreciate.
Thank you. I really try not to be. So hopefully that comes off. But I do know that like among the junior communities themselves, they have a lot of group chats and gossip and whatnot. And I am not very involved in any of that. But I think that's just natural, like teenage stuff.
Yeah. I always feel like with agility, and especially with kids in general too, it's like, oh, there's cliques and there's gossip and there's this, and it's like, what's the difference between like a friend group and people who hang out and like a clique? You know what I mean? Like,
I feel like people say about our area too sometimes.
Like, oh, it's so cliquey. And I'm like, just make friends with people. Like,
like, and there definitely is like, I guess, cliques, but I would say they're more friend groups. Like, there's definitely friend groups that are friends with like this particular group, and like we are.
But not everybody can be friends with everybody. Yeah, like, that's just not really.
No, I completely. Like, have you guys heard that TikTok that's like, click's gonna click? That's like, like, really? We're just friends. Like, sorry that it's making you feel bad, but it's not our fault.
Or like if you go to a big event or you go to a new area and you're like, no one talk to me. Like, talk to people. Like, or don't, but don't be mad about it. Yeah. Like, you don't just expect people to come up and be like, I would like to be your friend. Hello, how are you? Gotta put yourself out there. So I don't know. I'm so curious about, you said you don't put pressure on yourself, but when you're a kid, you're making teams, now you're like advancing. Like, did you feel like a mini celebrity? Was it like being Macaulay Culkin? Like you're growing up late? Like I always often think about that, about juniors who like make a name for themselves, quote unquote, and like just what that, not pressure, but just spotlight on you is like.
Yeah. I loved it. I mean, I'm not going to lie that I am a naturally ambitious person. So when I accomplish a big thing, like I'm proud of it. I enjoy doing the big stuff and for lack of a better phrase, like the attention that comes with it. So, and I also like, I fully see that I was, for all these teams, I was like the youngest on the team. And so I do see that that's like a special spotlight on me. And I like to think that I'm, representing the youth well. So yeah.
And you like rose to the challenge. You're like, okay, I'm not just here by accident. I earned my way here.
Yeah.
That's amazing. So you bridge this gap from junior to college student who's still doing fantastic. And you made a choice to go into being a public accountant. And I'm always really interested talking to young people about how they decide, like, am I going to make agility my full-time job, or am I going to go another route? So I'd love to hear about your decision to not presently make agility your entire life.
Yeah. So balance is super important to me. And I think that agility, first and foremost, is my passion. And the second that it becomes my livelihood, that is way too much pressure, and I will probably start to hate it if I was so like dependent on it. And I know I have tons of friends who did that avenue of, they were really good at the sport, so then they became a full-time agility instructor. And the sad part about that is that oftentimes their own training and competing goes on the back burner because they spend so much time helping other people with the sport that even though they have like full-time access to a facility, they are exhausted from watching a dog jump over a jump 60,000 times in one day. So I think I've sort of found this balance that like I have my career that is more or less a means to an end. Like it funds the thing that I am passionate about, but I also have like the perfect amount of agility in my life because it is most weekends at this point, but it's not my entire existence.
Yeah. I think that is what I hear all the time when I talk to people, and I have considered going down the path of like making agility my full-time job. I work in software basically, and jobs are jobs and sometimes they're not great, and you're just like, oh, what if I could just like work with dogs all day? Wouldn't that be a dream? But I think it's a good reality check to be like, would I still love it as much? Would I resent it? Would I be burnt out? Is the phrase I hear all the time.
I think that's something we ask ourselves all the time. Like, would we love it as much as we do now if we did it all the time? Like if we watched people do it all the time? Because right now it's a hobby and we do love it and we get to do it and enjoy it. But
I think it's a rare personality who can make their passion into their job. And then you think of people who like run facilities together, and now it's like your home and your life and your work and your hobby and your travel and everything is about agility. I don't know. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I think from my perspective, there's 3 different capacities, right, that I exist in. Teaching agility would be one of them, competing and training my own dog, and then judging. And so the top one of that is I always want, first and foremost, to be competing and training my own dogs. And I think it's kind of sad that, I hope that the sport progresses to the point where there can be a fully paid sponsored athlete so that you could literally make a living by competing and training your own dog. But that's not really a thing in agility. You can't really make money unless you're helping other people do agility.
Is that a thing internationally?
I think Enya Hobble in like Sweden. I think Sweden might be the only country that does that.
Yeah. I mean, it's crazy. Like, there's sports that I would think of as much less cool and popular. It sounds so bratty as agility. Like, I know that there's people who like fish competitively and are sponsored, and that's like their whole career. And I'm like,
I watched a cornhole tournament.
I was just going to mention that. I watched cornhole on ESPN.
Yeah, we were at a brewery or something, and I saw it on the TV, and I was like, what the fuck? It was like sponsored by Tractor Supply and like some brewery.
It's not even fun to watch.
No, I was like, what the fuck? I'm better at this than this guy.
Meanwhile, everyone at work was like, I saw Tyrese Maxey doing agility on the National Dog Show on Thanksgiving.
I did not hear people shut up about that, like at my job.
And like people love that. Nobody's talking about a fucking cornhole tournament.
Yeah.
I think that could be the next level. What do you think that's realistic? Like, is that going to be in the future?
I think it's a really long journey that agility would have to go to accomplish that.
Yeah.
Not saying
like
it's impossible.
Who would sponsor us?
Well, I mean, Purina already does, the Incredible Dog Challenge.
Yeah.
And I think there are some people who have a degree of sponsorship.
I feel like I can think of a few people off the top of my head that live in our area, maybe. Yeah.
But I don't know if it would be ever enough to be like your full-time thing. It would just be like a supplement.
Yeah. Everyone I can think of is also teaching agility, and they make income from that.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah. And then also I think like people that like teach agility or have facilities are also breeding as well. I would say too.
It's not profitable.
No, I know, but I think it's just a correlate. It's something I'm just thought of that popped in my head.
I was just saying. You often hear a lot of people be like, I'd have to take on a lot of pet classes in order to pay the bills, or I'd have to board and train pets and stuff like that because, it's hard to have the demand of just full-time agility all day, every day.
Like competitive agility.
Yeah. And back to the whole concept of balance. I do my job. I find it very character building to have that balance of like the thing that I love versus the thing that is responsible for me to do. As I'm sitting at my desk putting numbers into Excel sheets, I find that my appreciation for agility is actively growing as I'm sort of like held back from the ability to do agility. Well, that was kind of a tongue twister, but I nailed it.
Yeah, you did nail it.
The ability to do agility.
And so I think that it's important to like have something that grows your passion when you're not doing your passion.
That is remarkably mature of you to say.
Yeah.
Like,
oh my God.
are
You need to patent that.
I actually feel like you're
Thank you.
right now, and you're like speaking truth to my soul.
Yeah.
You know, it reminds me, actually, speaking of Enya, of something she posted recently about like shifting her mindset from like, oh, I have to do this to like, I get to do this. And that's why I imagine you being like on your spreadsheet and being like, I can't wait until I get to do agility, instead of me being like, oh, I have to condition my dog.
Yeah, her reel that she just posted, like, I get to do it sad, I get to do it like tired, I get to do, like, you get to do it.
It's a
like
privilege.
We get to do it. Yeah. You don't have to do it.
The sport
is
a luxury. Like, it's not life or death.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah, I know.
So I want to shift a little bit and talk to us about BJAC. I'm obsessed with BJAC. So
thanks.
I heard about it through a junior handler at my club, and she went kind of early in her agility journey. And I feel like it's this like dose of the drug that really just like hooks them in. So now every time I have a junior, I'm like telling their parents, like, have you heard of this camp? Buy it for them for Christmas. You should definitely send them. They're going to love it. They're going to make friends. And like just seeing kids like, no offense to anyone, but I feel like a lot of young agility kids are maybe a little bit quieter. Like they need to come out of their shell sometimes. And that's that opportunity to connect with other people who are like you and like come out of your shell in this new way.
If I was a junior in agility, I would have had a group of friends, because I mean, I was a loser in middle school and high school. Like, I didn't have a lot of friends, but if I did agility as a junior, I would have had a whole community.
Yeah.
Maybe I wouldn't have been bullied. No, I would have been bullied even more probably, but like, I would have been a whole community that I would have fit into and found my place.
So yeah, that is exactly the effect that the BJAC camps and the championship have. Like, I don't know if you guys have ever been to one. I don't think you have, but like if you were physically there, you'd see like truly what a magical atmosphere it is, because everyone is just like having the time of their lives, and everyone is connecting with people their age, which is such a rarity for a junior. So it's it's just really a special environment.
Yeah, I know. Like I feel like the juniors at my club have periodically been like, hey, can we have, an event? And I've tried to plan it and stuff, but it's hard because there's just not even enough people in the area to like bring them together. But the fact that people travel from literally all over the country to go to these is truly fantastic. So I want to rewind a little bit because I'm a little bit ignorant. I don't really know how it started, where it started. Have you been a part of it since the beginning? Like, please educate me because I actually don't know.
Okay, so it started by a good friend of mine named Sasha Zitter and another junior handler at the time named Madison. They were both like looking for a junior camp when I guess we were all about 15 or 16 at the time. And they were like, we want to go to a junior camp. And then they realized that it didn't exist. So they created it themselves. And I have the perspective that because Sasha was a friend of mine, I attended that first year, I guess the second year technically, I attended as a camper. And then eventually I came on to be a director. So I have both like the camper and the director experience. Yeah. And so basically it sparked out of that. It came from a kid who wanted something and it didn't exist. And so she took the initiative to create it. And that was like 9 years ago at this point. So it's really just continued to progress from there.
And what I like about it too is that I feel like agility used to be all about camps, like multi-day camps.
Yeah.
And in our area, that doesn't exist anymore. Like all my like older agility friends are always talking about like, yeah, we used to go here and like sleep in tents or we'd sleep in cabins and we'd be there for days and we'd do this and that and the other thing. And that just like sounds magical and straight up doesn't exist. Like it's all just like half day workshops, which is great. I love it. I like to go home. I do like to sleep in my own bed, but it does sound like fun to like gather. And I love that BJAC has still kept the spirit of being a true camp while the rest of agility might have like moved away from that a bit, at least on the East Coast.
Yeah. And we had to recognize that 3-4 days of agility for a dog is really, you can't really do that much agility nonstop. It's just not realistic. So what we've done is we've incorporated a lot of things into the weekend that are camp-esque, like just a lot of fun activities and games and stuff that doesn't even require the dog necessarily. So I love that we call it a camp and not a seminar, because it really is like the kids just doing fun activities.
Right.
Awesome.
And like having social events and like chilling. And like, honestly, I think one of the coolest parts is like getting to know the instructors who are there. Do you call them instructors, or what do you? Yeah. Like, you know, just to me, the idea of like getting to go and work with Chris Tucci and then like hang out with him. Like that would just be like the cherry on top. Like I go to a seminar and then I'm like, okay, thank you. Bye. Like nice meeting you. See you later. But you get to like eat ice cream together and stuff.
So, and just like, so back to me loving Tori's self, I met her when I was 11. She was teaching at Power Paws Camp. And so I met her in that same exact sort of situation where she was instructing. And I like to think that we do that for the kids too. Like we, with the instructors, getting to know them and getting to train under them instantly sparks this inspiration within them. And yeah.
That's so
cool. So can you tell us about the ways BJAC has grown beyond the camp? Because there's the grants and the league and now the championships. Like, I want to know, like, what are all the options and how did all of those come to be?
Yeah, so we've been adding roughly one major initiative per year since its founding.
Oh, wow.
So we started off with the East Camp. That's still like our biggest camp of 44 kids train over 4 days. I know. It's like, imagine a building full of kids who are doing agility. It's amazing.
That's crazy.
And then we added the West Camp on the West Coast, which is about half the size. And then last year we added the Boundless Youth Championship, which is a competition that is basically to give juniors more exposure to competing against each other and with an international flair to it. Just, you know, to make them more, I guess, competitive when they do go overseas to represent the USA. And
there's win-on spots for the WAO team from that, right?
So we've partnered with UKI with this. So thankful to UKI for giving us WAO and US Open buys. And this year we're also going to incorporate one TDC invitational slots as well.
Wow.
I'm obsessed with the fact that UKI like wants to offer that and like be kind about opening their doors and, you know, just nurturing the future of the sport in that way. That's so cool.
Yeah, we agree. We think it's absolutely incredible of them. And I also want to emphasize that like BJAC specifically, we're not trying to put ourselves in the camp of any one organization. Like we truly just want to support all juniors. And so, you know, if there's an opportunity to partner with any of the other organizations, we'll take that too.
That's amazing.
So just wrapping it up, if a kid was listening, I don't know if kids listen to a podcast called Bitches in Season, but if they were, like, what would you tell them if they wanted to get involved as a junior or specifically with BJAC? Like, what advice would you have for them?
I guess I would say to make sure to follow us on Instagram and hopefully enter one of those group chats of all the kids who love to participate and attend one or more of our events, because like I said, it's a gateway drug, right? Like you go to one and then you make all these friends and then instantly you are tossed into that community. So I find that once you attend an event, that is really the glue that sticks you into our little BJAC community.
I have to say that's 100% true. Every kid I've ever seen go to BJAC has come back like just more energized, more passionate, more serious. Like it just takes them from like, oh, I don't know, I'm just showing up with like my parents' dog to like try something out, to be like, this could be a lifelong hobby. And in some ways it's like safer than like other hobbies. Like you can injure yourself like playing tennis or something. I don't know, like agility.
Or you can break your ankle and then get surgery. But you know,
it's a hobby that you can have forever. Like let's say you were a great track athlete in high school. Love that for you. You can't be a great track athlete into your 60s, but in agility, you could be an international competitor through your entire life.
It's true. Yeah.
I completely agree. And I think it's cool that you could fit agility into different chapters of your life. Like it doesn't even need to be a consistent 50 years that you compete in agility. But, you know, I'm sure you see plenty of people online. It's a recent conversation I saw of someone was like, I'm not vibing with agility anymore. And you know what? That's totally okay. And you still have your dog that is your companion and your pet, and you can go hiking with them or do anything else with them. And then in years, you can return to this sport. So that's something that I love about it.
Yeah.
Take a step back and come back when you're passionate, or go to college and focus on your studies and your career, and then come back when you have your own dog and you're like financially able to. That's another part of it, which I love about BJAC, is like you provide that financial guidance. Like I hear that a little bit from families of juniors are like, this sport is so expensive. Like my husband plays volleyball and it's like $75 for the entire season, and I play $75 for like a day of agility. So that's quite different financially.
Yeah. So the mission of BJAC is to quote unquote shape junior competitors on and off the agility course. So by that we see that sort of being three-pronged. The first being like the literal dog training and handling skills. We want to increase those. Secondly, being sportsmanship, we think is super important to shape the way that kids are growing up in this sport and how inclusive they are and how helpful they are to the community, etc. And then lastly being, not lastly by, importance, but just lastly in the way that I'm listing it, but accessibility, which is that we are well aware that being a junior handler has like so many barriers to it. And so our mission is to like find these barriers, whether it be financially or transportation or having a viable dog for the sport or not having a community. Like there's so many things that are, it's hard for anyone to enter this sport, but it's especially hard for a kid to enter this sport. And so we just try to like combat that as much as we can through BJAC.
That's amazing.
That's amazing.
Yeah, that really is.
So what do you think is like the 10-year vision for accomplishing that mission? Or like, how do you see the future of junior agility and the landscape of that changing over time?
Yeah, so we're really trying to work on recruitment and retention of juniors. And a big part of that would be exposure. And so we're doing a lot of like, we'd love to get some sort of television company, production company to come to BYC and show these amazing, talented juniors to the general public on television so that more kids can see how cool this sport is and how many kids are doing it and loving it. So
like the new Amazon show, A Different Breed.
Yeah.
How they showcase, different competitors from the Incredible Dog Challenge. Like that was so cool. And it's on Prime. So it's everyone was talking about it. Yeah. Like, I know, like, when we have our things that are like live streamed on ESPN, like NAC and things like that, like us agility people always tune in because we know it's happening, but it's not as well broadcast or advertised for like the normal person, right? Whereas like on Prime, like everyone's been talking.
You're just scrolling through, like,
like what's that?
Yeah, and I also think like the stuff that's been televised has been the main demographic of American agility. And because there's maybe like one or two juniors represented on those televised things. Yeah. And so I think it would be really special and impactful for BYC in particular to be televised, because a kid walks by a TV screen and sees that and is like, OMG, like there's a whole community of people that will do this sport with me.
Yeah. I feel like the Incredible Dog Challenge has done a good job, at least in the recent years, of showcasing juniors and inviting them and making them one of the stories they tell, because, they always want to tell like that compelling story. And I feel like, that is a charming and wonderful tale, more than like someone like me being there like, hey, this is my dog. He's really cute. Like, aren't you proud of it? You know what I mean? Like, or I feed Purina, put me on TV. Like, it should be like the story of a kid who's like, just vibing with their dog and having a great time. I love it.
Yeah, totally. So generally the vision for BJAC is that we are progressing the overall exposure of junior agility to get more kids involved in it. And we're doing that little by little.
That's so cool.
That's awesome.
So tell us about being a judge and just like what made you want that to be part of your balance that you find. So just tell us a little bit about what took you down the path of wanting to become a judge specifically.
Yeah, so as I mentioned before, I took a lot from this sport growing up. It really did give a lot to me. And so I decided when I was 20 that this was how I wanted to give back to the sport. And it's really not glamorous at all, but I have decided that it was kind of my way of keeping my thumb on the pulse of the sport when I'm kind of between dogs at the moment, because Safari has retired and Oasis is not quite competing yet. So I've picked up a lot of judging in this last year because I wasn't at any of the big events competitively this last year. So
I
kind of
that reminds us of when we talked to Nadia from Barking Dog Images, where she was like, a dog being injured and a dog having this thing. Like, I wanted to stay like locked into the agility community, and this was my way of doing it through photography. But so I hear you on that. That's an amazing way to give back and stay plugged in.
But I will say, I think didn't you just debut Oasis?
I did.
Or
she
just
did her second agility trial.
So well.
Thank you. I'm so excited about her. She's such a fun little puppy.
Yeah.
She has a long way to come, obviously, but no, I'm stoked.
Right. Yeah.
Oh, that's
congratulations.
Super cool. Yeah. Okay, sorry. You were talking about like being a judge in the last year and how you've really like ramped it up.
Yeah. So just in general, like it's funny to me how quickly this sport evolves in terms of like the people that are at the top of it, because I already just in like 2 years of being almost like more judge than competitor, I'm noticing that like I'm known as a judge now, like more than people knew me as a handler. And so it's really funny to me because I am most passionate about competing and I'm very eager to get back to the competition stage with Oasis. But people these days are coming up to me and they like only know McKenzie Minto, the judge, and not McKenzie Minto, the handler.
Yeah, wow.
Actually, that's probably the first way that I heard of you. We live on different coasts and stuff, and we're competing before I was really like super involved. I haven't been super involved for that long either. So yeah, it's funny how your identity has like accidentally shifted in a way that you didn't anticipate.
Yeah, so I've made a goal for this next year that I'm very much limiting the judging assignments that I'm taking because I want to compete more than I'm judging.
Good. Do you feel like it's like burning you out a little bit judging? Have you like lost the luster a little bit?
I mean, there's a lot that goes into it. For one, course design is so time consuming to me. And I love designing courses, but that is probably like the most draining aspect of it. So I'm getting burnt out a little bit for sure. So I'm being more selective about which assignments I'm taking.
That's fair.
I feel like that's a great perspective to have, to be like, is this still fun for me? Am I still getting something out of it? And like, am I focusing on what actually like lights my fire about the sport?
That is Lindsay's favorite things to ask us.
I'm always like, are you having fun?
Are you having fun?
Is the dog having fun?
If you're not, then stop
why
doing
the fuck
it.
are you doing it?
Yeah, totally.
Literally.
You said you were limiting your judging assignments, but you just took on one of the biggest judging assignments for UKI, in which being the 2026 Open next year.
That's so exciting.
I know. That's so exciting.
That's a big deal.
Yeah,
that is a big deal.
And I just wanted to ask a couple questions regarding that. How does that process work? Like, as much as you can share with us, like, do you have to apply? Like, did you know you were going to apply for it? Like, just talk us through that if you want.
So the Open is definitely something I had my sights set on from the moment I became a judge. And because like I said, I'm naturally ambitious. Like when I start something, I want to be good at it. Like, sorry, but and so the way that it works is that
as women, we're not apologizing for wanting to be good at things.
No.
Thank you. So basically the way it works is through word of mouth, I guess. Something that I live by is that opportunities are only given to you if you are vocal about it. Such as, like, my favorite phrase is the squeaky wheel gets the oil. So that basically
say what you want, ask for it.
Absolutely. So I think I got it for 2 reasons. One being I literally mentioned it to people all the time that I wanted to judge an Open. And I knew that it would get back to the right people. Like, I think that they would hear that. And then, so then the second part of like vocalizing the things that you're interested in is also like being prepared for it when that opportunity arises. So I have been on the judging grind the last couple of years, like just trying to get miles under my belt so that I could be prepared for something big like this. So essentially, I just judged the West Coast Open this last year, and my goal of that was to do a good enough job to be considered for the U.S. Open. And I guess that was the case.
Yeah.
So what you're saying is that you manifested this.
You did manifest this. Yeah.
And I asked for it. And it's like, there's literally no harm in asking for something.
I know. Yeah. If you don't ask, then it's like you're either going to get it or you're not going to get it. And you're going to be in the same spot if you don't get it. Right? You're
Closed mouths don't get fed.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
Say what you want and go for it. That's fantastic.
So I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh, like I totally have like no intention of ever getting an open, but it has been on my radar. And so it's true that I'm stoked to be doing that next year.
And so how are you preparing, or like, I don't know, is there like a mental process? Are the judges like collaborating on the challenges? How does that work?
So we already have our assignments of which courses we're designing. And the way that it works is that we have like super spread out due dates. So like the first courses are due in like April or something, and then the next ones are due a month later, and then the next ones are due a month later. So he really spaces them out. And then the other thing that he does is Greg Jarrett is the one who like reviews all of the courses that are submitted. And if it's a tournament, he will then sort of give suggestions of what the next course can and can't include. Because if it's a multi-round thing, like he wants to mix up the challenges that are included in that. So that's really, he's actually like super accepting of our designs. Like he doesn't micromanage us at all, except that he does try to like mix up the challenges included.
Wow. And I like the idea of kind of staggering it because it gives you a year or like several months perspective about like the types of challenges that are popular or catching people or getting trendy overseas or whatever. Like you get to kind of have time to, I don't know, progress through that course design, and they're not all like due at the same time.
Yeah.
Yes. And it's a breath of fresh air for two reasons. The first being it's way fewer courses that are due from us. So like on a typical weekend, I'm designing 20 courses, whereas for the US Open, I'm designing literally 2 courses for 5 days. So
how many?
2.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's not.
So
we can do that.
I can. So which means I can put like way more time and energy into that one course, which brings me to my second point that it's a lighter or a cooler load is that I find that on a local trial basis, I did have to sort of dial back and Americanize my design. And for the US Open, I do not have to dial back the level of my design.
Yeah.
True.
So it's awesome.
That's really cool. So you just get to like do that thing that's like been living in the back of your head for the longest time, and you were, scared to go for it, and now you get like sort of that free reign to challenge people to the fullest. I love that.
Yeah.
Super cool.
Well, I'm hoping we all get to run one of your courses in 2026.
And the fact that you get to judge all the courses, even those that you didn't design.
Yeah. And I hope we all get a little heart.
Yes. All I want to do is give out hearts left and right. All of you can have a heart.
That's super cute. So I think we should wrap us up today, and just wanted to see if you had any questions for us, or if there's any other things that were top of mind for you that we didn't talk through.
Well, I want to hear about your puppy. I think we should take this opportunity so you can tell us about your puppy.
Yes. Okay. Yeah, because we haven't got to talk about the puppy on the podcast. So her name is Zinnia. She is a sport mix. And one of the most common questions I've been getting is like, did you know you were going to get a sport mix when you were making the sport mix episode and all of those things? And the answer is no.
Absolutely not.
She is Border Collie. She's, I know the percentages now because so many people ask me, I'm like, I might as well memorize them. She's 47% Border Collie, 37% Russell type Terrier, according to Embark, 9% Whippet, and 7% Staffy. So her mom is Border Jack 50-50, and her dad is a multi-generational super mix. Like, I was looking at his pedigree, and he's been a mix back to like the 90s. Like, so I don't know what they were mixing, lurchers, maybe for hunting, who knows? But he's just a super mix of everything. And he's from Morgan and Jordan Jarvis in Canada, another junior from who's been on teams
Superstar
probably at events.
She came to BYC this year and cleaned up.
Oh my gosh, yeah. She's amazing, and her dogs are amazing. So Zinnia's dad is Jerome, who's out of Quick. So if you know Jerome and Quick, that's probably who you've seen Jordan competing with, for our listeners out there. And then her mom and breeder is Adriana, and her mom's Nimona. So I think Nimona is just kind of getting out there and competing, but she has a sibling in our area. So Zinnia's uncle is Cinco,
who is my favorite, and I have mentioned many, many times on the podcast.
Yeah, we've talked about him on the podcast as just like a really cool mix. So it's Cinco's sister, Zinnia's mom, and so now we're all in the family around here.
Yeah.
And yeah, Adriana Nodstad bred her, and I'm obsessed with the way she raised them.
Yay.
It did kind of pop nowhere for me. Like, I think they were 3-4 weeks old when she even told me she might have a fit for me. Someone had to move to the next list. Everything happens for a reason, I feel like. And it just felt like the universe was like bringing this little nugget into my life. So I love her. She's like funny and spicy, and she's like got limbs that are just growing like little string bean stalks every day.
Yeah. She is. She's so tall.
Yeah.
Every time I see her, I'm like, she keeps getting taller.
I know.
Yeah.
So another common question I get is like how big she'll be. And I'll say like Nimona and Jerome are like roughly vision size and 16-inch jumpers, medium jumpers. So I'm hoping that's the size she'll be. But the funniest thing about having a mix is like, I don't know what she's going to look like. I don't know what her ears are going to do. I don't know what size. It's like every day is a mystery. Honestly, even her mom was black and white like she is when she was her age, and then has like ghost tri. So there's a chance Zinnia could just turn brown because that's what her mom did. She turned brown. Yeah. So she's super fun. I love her. And thanks for asking about her. I could probably.
No, she's so
She's
We're
so
also
cute.
super curious what her ears will do.
I know.
Yeah.
Right now they're kind of Jack Russell Terriering, like a little pedal,
They
which
look
is cute.
literally like little triangles.
Yeah, they are cute little triangles. And then one of her siblings is like going out like little, I don't know, little Ewok ears like her grandma, the border collie. And it looks like some of them are starting to go up and be prick ears. So who knows?
So exciting.
Yeah, she has a great personality. She just turned 3 months. So I love her. Can't wait to see her grow up. And we're already having so much fun.
Yeah.
So she is how many dogs do you have now?
I have 4 presently. I have an 11-year-old French Bulldog, an 8-year-old French Bulldog. Those are my OG dogs. And then Vision's 4, and she's my baby. And it's a little chaotic, tiny army that I have in my home. How many dogs do you have?
Just the 2, Safari and Oasis.
Okay. Oh, that's so cool. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Okay, so second question is I need an ankle foot update.
Oh, well,
She's going to put it in the air.
Oh, kick Lindsay.
I'm out of the boot completely, and I'm in a brace, and I have to wear the brace 24/7, and this is
forever?
Like, no, just for right now. My next follow-up with my surgeon is January 5th. And so right now, this brace has like plastic in it. So like my ankle cannot bend, but it's healing well. There's like still moments where I'll like walk or it will like turn a certain way and I'll feel like a uncomfortable feeling that I haven't felt before.
Oh no.
But my surgeon did tell me that tendons and ligaments take a very long time to heal. And so I had 3 partially torn tendons, 2 partially torn ligaments, and then also had a fracture. So I like really fucked it up. So it's all really gonna, take some time. But I should be running in like maybe 2 to 3 months, but I'll only be able to run in a straight line and no turning.
So I can't really do agility that way.
Well, yeah, the issue is the lateral movement because the lateral movement of the ankle is what could like mess up the healing of the ligaments and the tendons. So,
but you're gonna have to wear a brace in agility.
Yeah,
forever.
I have to wear a brace in agility forever. I literally just bought a $200 like brace that I'm going to have to wear for the rest of my life. But I never want to go through this again, so I will wear the fucking brace. I'm doing a lot better mentally. I can walk.
She's doing walking agility.
I'm doing walking agility. I actually just signed up for a walking agility seminar with Mary Ellen. I'm so excited. But yeah, I probably won't be trialing until like the spring of next year, if that maybe. But it's okay. Yeah. I'll be back at some point.
Were you going stir crazy for a while?
I wanted to jump off a bridge.
Oh, girl.
I cried every day. It was horrible.
Oh.
Just
it was very helpless and like
I couldn't walk. I couldn't drive. I was on a scooter or crutches. I couldn't do anything.
Oh.
I couldn't walk my dogs. I couldn't do anything that I normally did. My world just went from going and doing anything to literally being stuck in the house 24/7.
They were dark days. They were dark days.
Dark days. So, but I'm doing better. So
she's a podcast super fan to know to ask about an ankle update.
Yeah. I mean, it's all you have going on.
That's basically all we talked about the last
Yeah. I mean, it's all I have going on in my life right now. So I appreciate you asking. But no, I'm doing a lot better. It feels a lot better. So
I'm glad to hear it's on the mend and you'll be running in straight lines very soon.
Yeah. Yeah. Straight lines. Yeah. Just like give me a row of like 10 jumps. I'll be able to do that with my dog. So
great.
Yeah.
Go on.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for joining us. I know you just had a really long day and you're jumping on later in your day. And I just super appreciate that. And we had so much fun talking to you and learning about you, your life, your celebrity status, the BJAC.
Hey, those are your words, not mine. Let's be very clear about that.
Yeah, I'm a fan. I'm a big fan. If you had a fan club, you can put me on the board of directors of that because I'm loving it.
Thank you so much.
Do you want to tell us like where our listeners can find you, find more info about BJAC, all that good stuff?
Yeah, so I'll plug BJAC first. So our Instagram is boundless_company. And we are on Facebook as Boundless Junior Agility Company. And our website is bjacco.com. Camp registration opens on December 22nd. So get ready, juniors.
In our post.
This is what I'm saying. Like, it should be the Christmas present for some of these kids.
It's a perfect Christmas present, truly. And my Instagram is Mac the Mint.
Your Instagram's so cute.
Yeah.
I feel like it captures the vibe of like, I love dogs, but I'm also just like a young woman who's living. Aww. Like the dogs aren't the thing. And that's the vibe. That's
I feel like that's you too.
That's like my Instagram
that is
aesthetic.
also you,
like,
where I am like, this is my dogs. These are my dogs.
It's fine. Yeah. That's
no,
allowed.
I know, but I'm saying like you are also her. Like you're like, I'm a girl living, but also I love my dogs.
Yeah.
So
and they're a big part of my life, but they're not the only thing that I post about.
That's exactly me. Yeah. I just try to be a normal 20-something as much as I can be.
I enjoy it.
I love this. You are so well-rounded, so wise.
Okay, you're stroking my ego too much, Lindsay. Stop it.
Way too
big. But you've been just like dropping these pearls of wisdom on us that I really appreciate. So thank you again to McKenzie for joining us.
I want to give you some context to Mac the Mint.
Oh, yeah, please.
It was literally my first Instagram. I was in 7th grade when I got an Instagram. And I came up with it because that was back in the day when like people were coming up with not just their name as their Instagram username.
Yeah.
And I took so much shit for it. I was like low-key bullied for it throughout middle and high school.
Why?
Because it's weird.
Okay, please. Kids will bully people about anything. And I know this because I was a bully when I was a kid.
Yeah.
My Instagram, Lynn's Dish, is my first, now I'm going to feel old. It was my AOL Instant Messenger screen name from when I was in 5th grade in 2000 and I think the year 2000. The year 2000.
Like the Jonas Brothers song.
It went to the year 2000, 5th grade, made my screen name Lynn's Dish because my dad's girlfriend had relatives from France and she said something about like, oh, there's this food in France called the Lynn's Dish. And I still to this day like don't know if that's true or not.
I'm going to look it up.
Been name since I was a kid. And when I made Instagram in college, I was like, I don't know, what should it be? Guess the same thing. Here we are.
Perfect. Adorable.
Mac the Mint.
Yeah.
Wow.
My pets have always been my full identity. Like my actual personal Instagram before I transitioned to Chelsea's was Little Black Cat. And that was my first pet ever as like an adult.
But
so
the Little Black
her
Cat
name was
had
Zoe.
a name? Okay, Zoe.
Yeah.
Okay.
Her name was Zoe. Yeah. She sadly passed. But yeah, she was my first pet as an adult and still my entire personality. So yeah,
I was
that's
going to
just
say,
always
that'd
been
be
me.
so funny if your cat was just named Little Black Cat.
Yeah, that would be. It wasn't. No, she had a name, but I still do have a cat. But
Fletchy
man. So yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
I don't have any fun things.
No, you're just Lizzie Swartz.
Yeah.
Well, Rebel-Lothies because of your Star Wars
Star Wars, yeah. It was, but before it was Lizzie Swartz, it was Lizzie McGuire, which is kind of a fun story because when I was in 3rd grade, so my first name is Cassandra and my middle name is Elizabeth.
Plot twist.
Yeah, you know. plot twist. But in third grade, I was obsessed with Lizzie McGuire, as we all were. And I just woke up one day and I was like, my name is now Lizzie. And I literally went to school, started writing Lizzie on all of my school papers, told everybody to start calling me Lizzie. And eventually it actually stuck. And now I am Lizzie.
It's funny because I feel like a lot of kids go through a phase like that. Yeah. But you actually were like, no, I'm committed. Like, for a while, I would write my name Lindsay, LYN-Z. So I was like, no, this is my
No.
You really manifested a new name for yourself.
Lizzie. Yeah. I actually, like, at the bank, I had to tell them, like, people will make checks out to Lizzie and you have to accept them because, like...
You should just change. When you got married, you should have just changed it.
I tried. It costs $5,000.
Oh, to change your first name.
Yes, because you have to go to the court and do a whole, like, thing to make sure you're not, like, running away from the law or, like, you don't have somebody, like, coming out to get you or something. Like, you're not changing your name for, like, legal purposes or something.
So you can't change your name to Mac the Mint, unfortunately.
Dang.
Unfortunately. So that's a fun story.
So get back at the haters.
Yeah.
I know I've considered changing to just McKenzie Minto a bunch of times, but then I'm like, no, I have to give a middle finger to everyone who bullied me for it. Yeah.
Fuck yeah. Oh, God.
You know, your haters are your motivators.
That's also her favorite thing to say. So
wow. Do I have a lot of isms that I say? I love it. All right. So thank you so much for joining us, McKenzie. This was super fun. I love getting to know you, getting to know about BJAC, your world, your judging, and just like how freaking awesome you are. Do you want to join us in our signature farewell? Okay, ready, set. Bye.
Bye.
Well, that's a wrap on this week's episode. Rachel, where can our listeners find us on the internet?
You can find us at Bitches in Season on Instagram and TikTok, and on Facebook, Bitches in Season with a 1 in it.
Oh, stupid Facebook makes us have a 1 in the word bitches.
And you can listen to us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, and YouTube Podcast.
Thanks for listening, and we'll see you in 2 weeks.
Bye!